Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Full Spectrum Frontiers, where we dive deep into the nitty gritty of conflict economic, financial, infrastructural, and beyond. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton, and today we've got a hot topic on the table that's more tangled than my fishing lines on a bad day. We're talking supply chain disruptions. Yep, those pesky little gremlins that have turned our global trade into one big roller coaster ride over the past 5 years. You might have noticed your favorite gadgets taking a bit longer to arrive, or perhaps you've had to shell out more cash for groceries. Well, there's a lot more under the hood than just a few delayed shipments. Today, we're going to break down the cascading effects of the pandemic on our supply chains, how geopolitical tensions, particularly in the Middle East, are throwing a wrench into the works, and why this year's bumper crop of elections is making things even more interesting. Strap in, folks. It's going to be a wild ride through the intricate web of global logistics. But before we get into the thick of it, let's set the stage with a quick look at how we got here. The pandemic threw the first punch, but the aftermath is proving to be one heck of a long round. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's unravel the chaos together. Stay tuned. It's going to be both a brainy and bumpy journey. All right, let's dive right into the deep end. The pandemic's long shadow on supply chains. Picture this. It's early 2020, and the world is suddenly hit with something none of us saw coming: a global pandemic. Lockdowns, social distancing, but beyond the empty store shelves and hand sanitizer shortages, there was a storm brewing in the world of logistics. You see, the global supply chain is like this incredibly complex, finely tuned orchestra. Each part, from raw material extraction to final product delivery, relies on a delicate balance. When the pandemic hit, it was like someone threw a soup grenade onto the stage during a symphony. Factories shut down, transportation ground to a halt, and labor shortages became the new normal. Remember those images of cargo ships stranded at sea, unable to dock? Yeah, those weren't just for dramatic effect. Ports were clogged, containers were stuck in all the wrong places, and the entire system felt like it was on life support. And just like a bad cold, the effects lingered. We've had massive goods shortages, everything from semiconductors to bicycles, and prices shot up faster than a SpaceX rocket. Now you might be thinking, Bennett, surely things are better now, right? Well, yes and no. Some aspects have improved, but the ripple effects are still very much with us. Businesses have had to rethink their entire supply chain strategies. Just-in-time inventory, which used to be the gold standard, suddenly looked more like a risky gamble. Companies are now talking about just-in-case inventory, building up buffers to guard against future disruptions. But let's not forget the human element here. Workers in these critical industries faced immense pressures, often having to work in difficult and dangerous conditions. It's a reminder that behind every item on our shelves, there's a whole chain of people making it happen, and they've been hit hard too. So, to sum it up, the pandemic was the catalyst that revealed just how fragile and interconnected our global supply chains are. The impacts have been far-reaching, and we're still feeling the aftershocks. But hold on tight, because in our next segment, we're going to zoom out and look at how geopolitical tensions, especially in the Middle East, are adding fuel to the fire. Stay with me, folks. Geopolitical tensions. Yep, Those international squabbles that seem to pop up just when you thought things couldn't get more complicated. Let's talk about the Middle East, a region that has long been a hotbed of geopolitical activity. And by activity, I mean conflicts, power struggles, and everything in between. Now, you might be wondering, Bennett, how does this affect my Amazon delivery? Well, it's all connected in this intricate web of global logistics. Take, for example, the Strait of Hormuz, a tiny waterway that's absolutely crucial for global oil shipments. A significant chunk of the world's oil passes through this narrow strait, and any disruption here can send shockwaves through the global economy. When tensions flare up, whether it's due to political strife or military skirmishes, it's not just the oil industry that feels the pinch. Energy prices spike, transportation costs soar, and suddenly everything from plastics to food products becomes more expensive. Then there's the broader impact of regional instability. Conflicts can disrupt production facilities, delay transportation routes, and create an environment of uncertainty that businesses hate. It's like trying to run a marathon while someone keeps moving the finish line. Companies are forced to navigate these unpredictable waters, often at great expense. And let's not forget about sanctions and trade restrictions, which are often used as tools of geopolitical strategy. These can severely impact the flow of goods. For instance, sanctions on a country can limit its ability to export critical materials or import necessary components, further straining supply chains. But here's a bit of a silver lining. These challenges are driving innovation. Companies are exploring alternative routes, diversifying suppliers, and investing in technologies to make supply chains more resilient. Think of it as a kind of survival of the fittest in the business world. So, while geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and beyond are adding layers of complexity to our supply chains, they're also pushing us to adapt and evolve. It's a tough landscape, no doubt, but innovation often springs from adversity. All right, we've covered the pandemic and geopolitical tensions, but we're not done yet. In our final segment, we're going to tackle another major disruptor: the record number of elections this year and the political shifts they bring. Stick around, folks. It's about to get even more interesting. We've covered the pandemic and geopolitical tensions, and now it's time to tackle the final piece of our supply chain puzzle: political uncertainty. This year, we're seeing a record number of elections worldwide, and the ripple effects on supply chains are nothing short of fascinating. Elections can be a bit like rolling dice. You never quite know what you're going to get. New leaders, shifting policies, and unexpected changes in trade regulations can all have a significant impact. Think about it. A new government might decide to renegotiate trade deals, impose tariffs, or change regulations affecting imports and exports. These shifts can create a lot of uncertainty for businesses that rely on stable and predictable supply chains. Take, for instance, the recent elections in major manufacturing hubs. Changes in leadership can lead to new economic policies that either bolster or hinder manufacturing capabilities. A pro-business government might streamline regulations, making it easier for companies to operate, while a more protectionist approach could lead to tariffs and trade barriers that complicate international logistics. And it's not just about the big players. Local elections can also have an impact. Regional leaders can influence infrastructure projects, labor laws, and local business climates. A new mayor in a key port city, for example, might prioritize upgrading transportation infrastructure, which could alleviate bottlenecks and improve efficiency. On the flip side, if local policies become more restrictive, it can slow down operations and increase costs. But here's where it gets really interesting. Political uncertainty forces companies to become more agile. Businesses are investing in supply chain visibility tools, allowing them to track shipments in real time and respond quickly to disruptions. They're also diversifying their supplier base, spreading the risk so that if one link in the chain breaks, the whole system doesn't come crashing down. However, it's not all smooth sailing. The constant state of flux means businesses have to stay on their toes, continuously adapting to new realities. This can be exhausting and costly. Plus, the uncertainty can discourage investment in certain regions, slowing economic growth and development. So, while elections and political shifts add another layer of complexity to our already strained supply chains, they also push us towards greater resilience and innovation. It's a challenging environment, but one that also offers opportunities for those who can navigate it effectively. All right, we've unraveled quite a bit today, from pandemic-induced chaos to geopolitical tensions and the roller coaster of political uncertainty. But don't worry, I won't leave you hanging. In the outro, we'll wrap it all up and look at what we can do moving forward to better prepare for and mitigate these disruptions. Welcome back, folks, to the final segment of today's episode of Full Spectrum Frontiers. We've journeyed through the complex web of supply chain disruptions, from the pandemic's initial impact to the ongoing geopolitical tensions and the wild ride of political uncertainty. So, where does this leave us? For one, it's clear that supply chain disruptions are here to stay, at least for the foreseeable future. But this doesn't mean we're powerless. In fact, this is an opportunity, a chance for businesses to innovate, adapt, and emerge stronger. For businesses, it's all about flexibility and resilience. Diversifying suppliers, investing in technology for better visibility, and maintaining buffer stocks can make a huge difference. It's also crucial to stay informed about geopolitical developments and upcoming elections that could impact your operations. Being proactive rather than reactive can save a lot of headaches down the road. For policymakers, there's a need to create stable and supportive environments for businesses to operate. This means clear and consistent regulations, investment in infrastructure, and fostering international cooperation to keep global trade flowing smoothly. And for all of us as consumers, it's a reminder of the interconnected world we live in. Next time you're frustrated by a delayed delivery or a price hike, remember the vast and intricate network working behind the scenes to bring goods from across the globe to your doorstep. A little patience and understanding can go a long way. All right, that's a wrap for today's episode of Full Spectrum Frontiers. I hope you found this deep dive into supply chain disruptions as fascinating as I did. Remember, in every challenge, there's an opportunity to learn and grow. So, stay curious, stay informed, and keep pushing those frontiers. Thanks for tuning in. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. This is Bennett Tanton signing off. Until next time, stay sharp and stay resilient.